We're going to hear first from the ranking member of the full committee, Senator Cruz of Texas. Senator Cruz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you to Ranking Member Thune, and thank you to our witnesses today. The United States is the standard bearer for high-speed internet connectivity. During the pandemic, American internet providers significantly outperformed our more highly regulated European counterparts with faster and more competitive service. Yet this highly functioning industry is under relentless attack by the Biden administration. Despite being handed a generational opportunity to connect all Americans, this administration has made it clear they would prefer to assert government control of the internet. This was epitomized by last week's FCC party line vote to subject the broadband industry to an oppressive regulatory regime under the pretense of so-called net neutrality. This follows the FCC's digital equity power grab late last year, in which the agency asserted control over nearly every aspect of the broadband business and opened providers to expansive, indeterminate, and crippling liability under a disparate impact standard. The Biden administration claims that it wants to improve broadband affordability for American families, but the FCC is sabotaging these goals. What happens when companies need to divert significant resources towards complying with woke Biden priorities over their customers? Prices go up, investment and innovation declines, and Americans suffer. And we know this from experience. When the Obama FCC imposed Title II on broadband, their first iteration of net neutrality in early 2015, capital expenditures fell by $500 million that year and by another $2.7 billion in 2016. That hurts American consumers across the country. We see similar trends in the Biden administration's mismanagement of Congress's massive broadband investments, over $125 billion in the last 4 years. The Biden NTIA has prioritized woke social policies, union mandates, tech biases, and price controls at the expense of delivering high-speed internet to unserved Americans. The largest of these programs, a $42 billion broadband infrastructure program, is already being waylaid. Biden administration officials are withholding and delaying funding from states like Virginia, where Governor Youngkin's team is standing up to the coercive and lawless demands of the Biden administration. Likewise, the Affordable Connectivity Program is not working as Congress intended. To assist those for whom cost was the barrier to gaining internet access, ACP, which gives a $30 monthly subsidy for internet service and $75 per month if you're on tribal lands, was given a record $14 billion budget. This was anticipated to last several years. But the FCC deliberately oversubscribed the program, blowing through the money in record time. We have heard from the White House and from Chairman Rosenworcel that this massive welfare program should be considered a success because 23 million households enrolled in it. But it turns out the vast majority of these people already had high-speed internet. Here's an FCC survey showing that just 22% of the households receiving the taxpayer subsidy were previously unsubscribed to broadband. This means that for every household that didn't subscribe to premium internet, the federal government is subsidizing 4 households that did. Beyond this massive inefficiency and waste, reports have also found, unsurprisingly, that the ACP has had inflationary effects on the price of internet. One of our witnesses, Dr. Paul Winfrey, analyzed the data and found that in places where ACP enrollment is the highest, we see higher prices. A less technical but no less telling report from the National Review used archive records from the internet to show that companies treat the $30 subsidy now as the new price floor. Companies that used to offer broadband plans for $10 or $15 a month now charge $30 for the same or marginally upgraded service. History has shown that when the federal government starts subsidizing demand in higher education and agriculture, the subsidy gets capitalized and prices go up. After all, why would corporations ever leave free money on the table? While those who receive the subsidy may realize an immediate cost reduction, the market prices rise for everybody else. This rising price creates a call for more subsidies and higher taxes to fund those additional higher subsidies, and eventually a government takeover of the internet to provide it for free. To the extent there are truly indigent people who cannot afford connectivity, there is a program already designed for them. It's called Lifeline. If it's not working well, we should look to improve it, not to impose higher taxes on millions of hardworking Americans to cover the internet bills of their neighbors who are already willing and able to pay for it themselves. I'm open to a discussion on these reforms. The road to broadband as a publicly regulated utility is not one Americans can afford. To ensure that all Americans can access and benefit from high-speed connectivity, the administration should reverse course. Abandon toxic regulatory mandates, remove unnecessary barriers to investment, and ensure federal broadband subsidies are working as Congress intended. An innovative and an affordable broadband future can only be achieved if the federal government puts Americans' prosperity over its urge to assert regulatory control. Thank you.
Thank you.